Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Healing Space. I'm your host, Maya Sol, and today we're talking about a topic that has left many people confused, frustrated, and searching for answers. Today's episode is called Why Men Pull Away. Now, before we begin, I want to make something clear. This episode is not about making excuses for unhealthy behavior. It's not about justifying ghosting, dishonesty, or emotional unavailability. It's about understanding. Because one of the most common questions many women ask is, why did it stop communicating? Why does everything seem fine one minute and different the next? And while every situation is unique, there are some common reasons men create distance that often have less to do with a lack of feeling and more to do with what they're experiencing internally. Let's talk about it. One of the hardest things to accept is that not everything is about us. When someone becomes distant, our minds often immediately go to, what did I do wrong? Did I say something? Is there someone else? Sometimes those concerns are valid, but many times a man's distance has more to do with what he's struggling with internally than what his partner did externally. Many men are taught to process problems alone. They isolate when they're stressed. They become quiet when they're carrying burdens. They don't know how to explain. The problem is that silence often creates fear for the person on the receiving end. Many women process stress through connection. They talk, they vent, they seek support. Many men process stress by retreating. They focus on solving the problem first and discussing it later. Imagine a man facing financial stress, work pressure, family responsibilities, or personal struggles. Instead of talking about it, he may become distant, not because he doesn't care, but because he's trying to figure things out. Unfortunately, what feels like self-preservation to him often feels like rejection to his partner. Many men grow up hearing messages like, be strong, man up. Over time, vulnerability can begin to feel uncomfortable, even dangerous. The result is that some men struggle to express what's really happening inside of them. Rather than saying, I'm overwhelmed, I'm struggling, I don't know what to do, they simply withdraw, not because they don't have feelings, but because they've never been taught how to safely express them. Many men carry pressure that people don't always see. When they feel like they are falling short in one area of life, some men begin pulling away from relationships because they don't feel like the version of themselves they want to be. It's not always logical. Sometimes a man isn't distancing himself because he doesn't care. He's distancing himself because he doesn't feel good enough. This may surprise some people, but men fear rejection too. Many men have experienced judgment, embarrassment, failure, or emotional rejection. As a result, some create distance before they can be heard. It's a form of protection. If I leave first, I can't be left. If I stay distant, I can't be disappointed. It's not healthy. Now let's be honest. Sometimes distance is communication. Sometimes someone is losing interest. Sometimes they're emotionally unavailable. Sometimes they're not ready for the level of commitment the relationship requires. And sometimes they're simply not willing to communicate. Not every situation has a deeper explanation. This is why it's important not to spend months trying to decode someone's behavior. Healthy relationships require communication. When distance appears, many women respond by moving closer. They ask more questions, seek more reassurance. The problem is that when one person moves closer while the other moves farther away, both people often become more frustrated. One feels chased, the other feels abandoned. This creates a cycle that can quickly become unhealthy. Healthy communication sound like, I've noticed you've been distant lately. Is everything okay? Notice the difference. Those questions create space. They invite conversation. Sometimes the question isn't, why is he pulling away? Sometimes the better question is he willing to communicate? Because distance by itself isn't always a problem. Everyone needs space sometimes. The real issue is whether two people can communicate honestly about what's happening. Healthy relationships aren't built on perfect behavior, they're built on honest communication. As we close today's episode, I want to leave you with this. When someone pulls away, don't immediately assume you're the problem. Don't automatically blame yourself for someone else's inability to communicate. Listen, observe, communicate, and most importantly, believe actions as much as words. Thank you for joining me for another episode of The Healing Space with Maya Soul. Until next time, keep healing, keep growing, and most importantly, keep choosing yourself.